Hello guys, I know it's been a while since I've done a video for YouTube. It's been since October. However, I am hopefully back for a little while. And yeah, I'm sorry, I guess. I don't know. But this is gonna be my first video of 2021 and for the past like 3 months. So yeah, I need to work on that. But anyway, this video is going to be about a book I have purchased since my last video, and my last video, as I've already mentioned, was in October, and I did a books I had purchased up until then, and in the past 3 months I have gotten way too many books, so I'm going to go over a couple of them, and yeah. I'm going to do it in categories, so I'm going to do manga / graphic novels I have purchased, which is the first one, and the second one's going to be murder mysteries, and the third ones are going to be like teen rom-coms, I guess you could say, and then the last one is just going to be random. Most likely it's going to be a book from my library, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So yeah, okay, the first book manga, this is not in order because I generally do not remember which ones I got first. This is not in order at any means, necessarily not in order, but yeah, just need to clarify that. Okay, the first book I have gotten is actually technically a series, and that is book 1. Look at that beautiful cover. Book 2, yet again another beautiful cover. Book 3, another very beautiful cover. And lastly, book 4 from the Ruby series. So if you don't know what Ruby is, I'll try and explain it however best. I'm not good at explaining. You'd think reading all these books will give me a good understanding of how to explain them, but it doesn't get easier. But basically what these books are about, they're not really connected to the movie, or well, I should say the show that much. It's not really like what's happened in the show, but I'll explain what happened in the show. In the show, there are 4 main characters which create the team Ruby, and it's very confusing because Ruby spelled RWBY, which is the first letter of all the girls' names. However, it's spelled Ruby, which is kind of confusing, but yeah. And it's about these 4 girls. So the first girl is Ruby, who's the team leader, and then you have Weiss, which so you have Ruby Rose, then you have Weiss Snee, and her name's German for Snow White. White Snow or something like that. I'm pretty sure. And yeah. And then you have Blake Belladonna, and then you have Yang Xiaolong, and then Weiss is Ruby's partner, and Blake and Yang are partners, and Yang is Ruby's older sister. Ruby's 15, and all the other girls are 17 at the start of the series, and they go to this academy for, I guess you could say, for learning how to be huntresses and huntsmen. And they basically fight these monsters called Grimm. There's different kind of Grimm, like Nevermore, and there's so many, I can't even remember them right now, but there's a lot. My favorite being Nethermore, but yes. So they fight these beasts while also fighting evil villains, which are actually human or close to human. And so you have like Roman Torchwick, you have Adam, you have I forgot his last name, you have Cinder, and you have Salem, and they're basically battling these people while also fighting Grimm, and it's just really entertaining. And basically each book is about a different character. So the first book is about Ruby, and the second one's about Weiss, and then the third one's about Blake, and then lastly the fourth one is about Yang. And also in the show, especially when they're doing fight scenes, there's different songs. There's some really good songs. I would definitely recommend the Ruby playlist songs, like the soundtrack, because they're definitely really good. And the mangas are named after the songs for the different characters. So Ruby's song is Red Like Roses, Weiss's song is Mirror Mirror, Blake's song is From Shadows, and Yang's song is I Burn. And yeah. Yeah, that's basically what they're about. There's also other characters, like you have Nora, you have Para, you have Ren, you have John, you have Sun, you have Neptune. Like there's so many other characters. You have Emerald, Mercury. But yeah, I definitely recommend the show, and if you want to, definitely recommend the mangas. They're not mandatory, but still really good. Okay, then the second, I should say. The second manga series that I've purchased are Tokyo Ghoul 1 and 3. I'm looking on getting number 4, but right now I only have 1, 2, and 3. So basically, yet again, this has been turned. Ruby was originally a series, and then it got turned into a manga, kind of, sort of. And then, but Tokyo Ghoul was first a manga, and then it got turned into a show, I believe. And you can watch the show on Netflix. Oh, you can watch Ruby on Rooster Teeth, by the way. Just then you know it's a website. Anyway, you can watch Tokyo Ghoul on Netflix, and it's just it's about these ghouls, believe it or not, and they live in Tokyo. And basically, what a ghoul is, if you don't know, is basically a monster, I guess you could say, that eats humans. So definitely not a human, but a monster that eats humans, but they look like humans. Yes. And in this world, a ghoul can eat as long as they eat I don't know if this is gonna sound weird. Anyway, as long as they eat a human, they can survive a whole month without eating another human, and then they obviously have to eat again before the starvation kicks in and they die. But in this series, at least the beginning of the series, the whole problem is that there's this monster going around, Rize, I believe that's how you pronounce her name, and she is a binge eater, which basically means that she eats humans unnecessarily, so she eats more than one a month, and it's very unnecessary. And because of these binge eaters, humans are labeling ghouls as dangerous and as problematic, when they kind of are, but not really, because it's only a couple of them doing it, really. But obviously, humans being the stubborn people that we are, we're blaming the entire ghoul population. So, and the overarching story is basically that there's this guy. His name is Ken Konake. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I'm very bad at pronouncing these people's names because they're Japanese. But anyway, and he's basically a human, but then Rize tricks him into thinking that she is a human. Yes. And then they go on a date, and on the way back home, Rize tries to eat him, but then a construction site falls down on her, crushing her to death. And then Ken comes out alive, but he's in hospital, and in the hospital they have to do a emergency organ transplant, and the organ that they transplant into him is the girl's, not knowing that she's a ghoul. So then that turns Ken into a half human, half ghoul hybrid kind of combo deal. And yeah, it's basically about him, and he meets this girl, Toka, who's this girl, and another girl. I actually don't remember her name. Oh no, I do remember her name. Her name's Hiname. She's a little girl, but she's a ghoul. And they basically meet them. There's some kind of like spy detectives on the trying to hunt down the ghouls, and he's trying to stop them. Obviously, because he is half human, half ghoul, he has a slight advantage because he's kind of in both worlds. And yeah, you just see his journey into discovering, like, am I a ghoul? Am I a human? Am I just both? Am I neither? And all that stuff. And then, lastly for this section has gotten really long, but my graphic novel I got was Heartstopper. And it's basically about these, it's a series as well. I believe there's 3 I believe there's already 3 books coming. There's either 3 books already out and a 4th book coming, or 2 books out and a 3rd book coming. I can't remember, but there's a book coming out. And it's a series, and it's about this boy and another boy, and they basically, one of them's gay, and then the other one is straight, and then and yeah, they become friends and everything, and then at the very end of the book, basically the straight boy just realizes that he's probably not fully straight, and yeah, that's basically what it's about. So yeah, those are my manga and my graphic novels. The next ones I'm gonna do are my murder mystery books. 2 of these books I've already read, and the other one I'm like a little bit more than halfway through. So the first one is the book that I'm almost halfway through. Is Cheerleaders. 5 girls lied, 5 girls died. Quite seemingly. Definitely not innocent or anything like that. So the book is basically about these 5 cheerleaders, and yeah, 5 years ago. Okay, just make sure. 5 years ago, they all got into. They all died differently. 2 of them died, got murdered. The other 2 got into a car crash, and then the last girl seemingly committed suicide. So it's about them, kinda, sorta, and it's 5 years later, and one of the girl who committed suicide, her name is Monica. Yeah. No, her name is Jennifer. Sorry. Her name is Jennifer, and and her sister Monica is very suspicious about her death, because she was a seemingly happy girl. Like, she was like not even a seemingly happy girl. She was a genuinely nice person. She was happy. Like, she had her problems, but so does everybody else. And it was just very weird that she just killed herself out of seemingly nowhere. So Monica's very suspicious of her death and all the rest of the cheerleaders' deaths. So she basically is trying to discover all these things, while at the same time getting information thrown at her, without her, whether she likes it or not. And yeah, it's basically about her journey. She makes some friends along the way. I haven't gotten all the way through, so let's see if they really are her friends. But she makes some friends along the way. She makes some enemies. She makes some people who she's suspicious of. And it's just about her discovering the truth about all the deaths that happened 5 years ago. Okay, so now the second book is Lies Like Poison. And I love this book. I love all of these books with all my heart, but especially these next 2 that I'm going to talk to you about. Okay, Lies Like Poison is from Chelsea Pitcher, and Chelsea Pitcher was in my last video. What is it called? This Lie Will Kill You. Yes. She wrote a book called This Lie Will Kill You. And this is another book. It's not a sequel or anything. It's just another book that she's written. I'm liking her book so far. Called Lies Like Poison. It's about these 4 characters: Raven, Poppy, Lily, and Belladonna. Raven is a boy, and Poppy, Lily, and Belladonna are girls. And they were all friends, but then something happened with his stepmom, and something happened with with Raven's stepmom, and then they had this plan to kind of take her down, but it all, like, the plan got called off. And then this is 3 years later, and Raven's mother is found dead, and Belladonna petals. If you don't know, Belladonna, Poppy, and Lilies are all they're all poisonous. And Belladonna's petals are found in her tea. So it's basically about who committed the murder. And another character kind of comes into it. I don't want to spoil it, but there's Raven, Poppy, Lily, and Belladonna. And yeah. So Raven's the boy of this whole situation, and he's the stepson to the step mother who's dead. Poppy is Raven's one of Raven's best friends. Lily is Raven's stepsister, and then Belladonna is Poppy and Raven's best friend as well, but she comes into the situation a little bit later. So yeah, that's basically what the book is about. Okay, lastly for this section, another book I have. This is another book I have read, and it's called Five Little Liars. And I absolutely love this one as well. I believe there's a sequel coming out. I'm not 100% sure, but I think there is. Because the ending definitely leaves you on a cliffhanger, and it's not one of those cliffhangers that are just like, yeah, this is the last book and it's a cliffhanger. Sad for you. No, I think this is like a genuine cliffhanger, so I think there's a second book coming out. I think I saw it somewhere online. I need to stop saying I think. But yeah, basically it's about these 5 kids who are all more or less strangers to each other. Like, some of them know each other because they go to the same school, but none of them are really in the same friend group circle, and none of them really haven't talked to each other before the summer break, and their names are Ivy, Tyler, Kinley, Cade, and Maddie. And Ivy is like the popular girl, but then her boyfriend dumps her, and she becomes the loser. Tyler is the rebel bad boy delinquent. Kinley is the goody two shoes smart girl on top, like with perfect grades and everything, perfect life seemingly. Cade is the rich boy. His family's really rich. He lives in basically a mansion, and yeah, he's just a rich spoiled brat. And Maddie comes out of town, so he's the new boy, and he really doesn't. And he's the only one who doesn't really know anybody really. But during summer break, they all go take Dr. Stratford's psychology summer class. But then in one of the lessons, something goes wrong, and the next day, he is found dead in his class. Well, he's not even. Oh, wait a second. Let me rephrase that correct. He doesn't come to class for the next week or whatever, so he's missing. He is not. He is not found dead. He is just missing. Gosh dang it! I think I just ruined the whole book. Anyway, so it's basically just about them trying to cover their tracks because they don't want anybody to find out that they're the ones who killed him. A seeming innocent book, definitely. But yeah, they're trying to cover their tracks, and they all have to more or less become, maybe not friends, but definitely acquaintances, and they all have to learn how to trust each other, and some relationships may or may not start. I won't say with who, but some relationships do form, friendship and love. And yeah, it's a really interesting book. I definitely liked it, and the plot twist at the end was just like the cherry on top. It was such a good book, and that's one of the main reasons I love murder mysteries, is because with teen rom-coms or just teen books or something, or like manga, or like different kind of books, like you don't really have to have plot twists. When it's with murder mysteries, you kind of have to have a plot twist, or else it's just like, why am I even reading this? I could have told you that he was the killer at the beginning of the book without you giving me this whole 300-page book. Like, I could have just told you this. So the whole point of murder mysteries are the plot twist and finding out who did it. So yeah, and I think that's something. I think that's why I've gotten a couple of Chelsea Pitch's books now, is because I love the way she does plot twists, because she does quite a few of them in one book, but they all kind of tie into each other really nicely, and like they're all messy because like it's murder mystery. It has to be messy, or else it's not gonna or else it's not like it's a teen murder mystery. You're not gonna want to watch it if it's not a little bit confusing and everything, but at the same time it ties nicely into each other. So then by the end of the book you're like, okay, that made sense. Like, maybe when you're reading the book it's like, what is happening? But as soon as you finish it, it's just like, oh, that all made sense. I love it. And I definitely want to get more of Amanda K. Morgan's book because I liked how she did. I also liked how she did her plot twist as well. And I definitely want to get more Kara Thompson books. Kara. I'm not 100% sure how to say her name. I definitely want to get more of her books because I believe she has another book called like like Monsters or something like that, and that's supposed to be a really good book. And yeah, so far I've liked the book so far. And yeah, I definitely want to read more of hers. It's definitely way longer than I wanted it to be, but you know, it's not that long, hopefully. But I have 3 books left, so let's get into them quickly. Okay, so out of the 3 books I have are teen rom-coms. So the first book is called It Only Happens in the Movies. And this book is basically about this. It's about this girl Audrey, and she meets Harry at a because they both work at a cinema, and it seems like the perfect like cinematic romance. Like she's the damaged. She used to be the goody two shoes happy girl, and now she's damaged since of her breakup and her parents' divorce. So Harry is the delinquent, and he's the rebel. He smokes. I do not condone smoking, but he smokes. He drinks. Underage. So wow. And yeah, and it seems like the perfect like romance at first, but then it's like every movie cliche rolled into a romance, but then something happens and she has to choose if she will let him into her heart and possibly break it, or if she will just go on carrying on with her life like it was before, damaged and broken. So, and I really like the book and the ending. There were several parts in this book when I was sobbing, absolutely sobbing. There's like 2 or 3 parts where it had me crying a little bit too much, and then the ending of the book had me crying. But still to this day I don't know if I read this book like a month or 2 ago. A month ago, and still to this day, I do not know if I was crying happy joys because the ending was actually quite nice. It wasn't the ideal ending, but it was still quite nice. And when you read it, if you read the book, it'll make sense why I say it's not the ideal ending. But it also had me crying because the ending, obviously, as I've said, was not ideal. So I was just like, oh my goodness, don't break my heart like this. Okay, the second rom-com teen book I will read a lot of teen rom-coms and murder mysteries. Is kind of unhealthy. At least I'm reading books, though. You know, some people don't read books. At least I'm reading. But the second book I have, which I actually haven't finished yet, but I'm very close to the end, it's called It's Not Like It's Secret. And basically, there's 2 overarching storylines, both to do with the main character. So the first one is that the main character is, drumroll please, she's lesbian. And she's Asian, and she falls in love with a Mexican girl. And yeah, that's basically, it's like very complicated, but that's the most basic explanation for the book I can give you right now. She falls in love with her, and yeah. And as I mentioned before, she is the main character is Asian, and it's very stereotypical. However, I do have some Asian friends, and I can say that at least for them, especially, this is true. It's a very stereotypical thing, but I think it's kind of true because I have a few Asian friends. Like I live in Birmingham, so I have a few Asian friends. Like a lot of Asian friends, not even a few. I have a lot of Asian friends, and almost all of them are strict, especially when it comes to school and like who you hang out with and what you do and stuff like that. So she, her mom is very much that strict Asian parent that is just constantly like, no, you have to do work. You can't go out with friends to the mall. Who does that? Socialize? Pfft. So yeah. And her dad, and the second storyline is about her dad, and it's about how he's cheating on her mom. That's fun. I don't know why both of these books have divorce in common. I don't know what that says about me, but I promise you, my family's happy. But yeah. It basically so those are the two storylines, and it's getting very. As I said before, I haven't finished it yet, but it's getting very good, and I love it so far. I absolutely adore it. Okay, the last book I have isn't. I didn't know what to put this in because I don't really know if it's a teen book, but at the same, because I don't think it's a YA book, but at the same time I don't think it might be a YA book because it's not an adult book and it's not a children's book, so it might be a YA book. Again, I read a lot of YA books. I need help. But this book is actually. It's actually very bad because I have so many books that I have to read. I haven't even finished this book. I'm on page 40. I am on page 40. I've had this book for like 2 months and I'm on page 40 of this book. And I'm supposed to be reading it for book club, which is really bad. But anyway, the book is called Shell, and it's by Paula Rawsthorne. Yeah, that. And it's basically, the book is basically about this girl who has cancer, and then she's basically on her deathbed one day. However, they perform this miracle surgery, I guess you could say, and it's basically when they use somebody else's, a healthy person's body. I have problems speaking. And they basically not really transplant. I don't know what's the right word. But they basically take her brain out of her body, since her body is obviously not the greatest condition, and put it into the healthy dead. It's a dead person, by the way. It's not like a live person that like they killed them or something. No, it's already a dead person, but like they have a healthy body, and put her brain into the healthy body, the dead healthy person's brain. Body. It's so hard to explain this book, but yeah. So she still has all her memories. She still knows who everybody is and everything. But she's just in a different body. She just looks different. And that's basically what the book is about in short terms. Like I said, I'm only on page 4. So I can't really say anything too much about this book because not only plot spoilers, but I just don't know that much about it. And basically the whole book, I believe, is about her just trying to find out, like, she's trying to live this new life and discover that cheating death actually comes at a price. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, it comes with a price to pay, for better or for worse. So yeah, those are the books I've gotten. That was really long, but I have purchased a lot of books, and there's some books I didn't even include in this book because, first of all, this is probably going to be over 30 minutes of video, and also because I haven't finished those. I haven't even started reading those books, so I was like, I'll include them in the next one. Anyway, I'm so out of breath from talking. So those are the books I've chosen to put in this video. In the description, you will see the books' names, you will see the authors' names, and where I got them from. I'm not sure if there's any other places, but where I got them from, or where I know you can get them from. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hopefully I will stay back for a little while. But yes, hopefully I'll at least stay uploading video. I might not upload 2 videos a week, but definitely at least once. I think the whole 2 videos a day thing was getting overboard, so I was just like, okay, let's just do 0. I could have just done 1, but school and all that stuff, COVID, still a thing, unfortunately. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and for now, that is bye.